Coming to the green flag here for round number 18 of the 2022 FBRL Hardee's National Series season. Tyler Black on pole position alongside Shade Eves in the 3. Green flag out in the air here at Nazareth. Through turn number 1, Tyler Black and Eves stay side by side here. Eves is going to drop back in second place there as Black easily assumes the lead. Nazareth Speedway 0.9 mile racetrack, almost the size of an intermediate, but basically a short track with several different corners. Black leads the first lap here, Eves in second, Luke Martin slots into third. Points leader Diego Yepes here running in the top 15. Did not have the qualifying effort they were hoping for here as Noah Hart gets underneath him, gets into his quarter panel there, slightly moves him out of the way there. Early for that level of contact, but Noah Hart passes the 77 of Yepes. Yepes assumed the points lead after a solid finish 2 weeks ago and is trying to capitalize on here, but the 77 team did not have a good qualifying effort. The 77 team has been kind of inconsistent when it comes to qualifying. It's cost them some conveniences of track position before. As you can see, Yepes here. It may not just be track position. I think the 77 just is struggling right now as Doug Lockrow in the 35 underneath. Trying to make a pass on him here alongside Kyle Collins, another car in the top 4 in points. Ooh, look at this here. Yepes, Bishop Jr., and Lockrow 3 wide through the first 2 turns. As 3 wide here on this very narrow track is not exactly the brightest idea, but they're making it work so far. But after Gateway, you have to feel maybe a little bit of apprehension here as Bishop Jr. gets slotted out. He misses several positions there. He's going to lose 3 in 1 lap. 3 in 1 corner, honestly. Nazareth is a very track position heavy track here, so losing positions is quite a penalty as you can get freight trained, as Bradley Bishop Jr. is being freight trained right now. Bishop going to need to try and get back down towards the bottom lane, or else his teammate Sean Angel will dive below him here just like he's doing now. And Bishop Jr., he is having a real tough time here trying to stay in the top 20. Back up at the front, Tyler Black has a lead, but has not really been able to pull away so far from the 2 cars behind him. Eves and Luke Martin steadily keeping the same pace. Martin underneath the 3 there, trying to see if he can find a hole to get past him here. Martin coming off his big win at Gateway 2 weeks ago. And Eves, I think, wants to basically forget that Gateway even happened, considering what happened. And now Luke Martin, though, he makes a little bit of a bobble through the corner there. And Nick Breeding, the former points leader, now trying to slot underneath him. Breeding trying to make up for the mechanical failure he suffered from at Gateway. Had a bit of a misshift, blew up the engine under caution, which for Rodriguez Racing must have been quite embarrassing, but Breeding is running in the top 5 here, trying to do what he can to lessen the damage here and retake the point lead from Yepes, but it's going to be quite the uphill battle for Breeding here, especially how difficult it is to pass. Here comes Doug Lockrow underneath the 18, looking for 15th from Noah Hart here. Gallon Down Incorporated's Doug Lockrow. We're almost at the end of the season here, and you have to. This team has been quite the talk here. You have to say this has probably been one of the best performances by a team with such low expectations here. You know, they didn't exactly have this is an understatement. They didn't exactly have the best 2021, but they came into this year much more prepared. They've had some really solid finishes for the equipment that they've got, and they've beaten some really good teams. And while it's early today, they are already flexing some muscle here, running in the 15th place position here and running in front of the points leader. There's a lot of wins behind him, and we'll see how well he can hold up here. Now, granted, he also may be pushing his tires beyond what his car should be doing, but still, it's a heck of an accomplishment for this team to even run in the top 15. And it's not the first time we've seen it this year either. Battle for 9th place here between Gallon Downey and Malik Nevins here. As Downey in the 12 trying to hold against this 11 Joseph Wrigley Racing car. But Nevins has been moving forward the past couple laps here. Downey had a pretty decent qualifying effort today, but has been slowly kind of dropping here. I'm not sure if the 12 car is struggling for long run pace or something, but Nevins easily goes past the 12. Right behind them, Kev Shear goes past Julius Caesar for the 11th place position there. Now Caesar for the past couple laps was holding off some pretty good cars there, which pretty impressive for that team and for Caesar, who has had some couple of good runs this season, but hasn't really ran as high as he has today very often this season. Trying to hold off Ryan Butcher and Bobo Jones now. As here comes Butcher underneath the inside there, trying to get past the 10. Caesar's going to make it difficult as he can for him here. Butcher throws it a little into the corner there, maybe trying to get the 10 a little shooken up there. He may hit the back of him there, but backs off. Butcher trying to be very patient here. Passing, like we said, it's going to be quite difficult there unless you kind of get forceful on corner entry. And Butcher is being as patient as he can here, but we are halfway through the green flag run. And if you're going to make passes, you got to do them pretty quickly. Here's Jack Halleck in the 74 car, running inside the top 10 here, trying to battle himself into the top 6. Well, top 5, really, as he's got Crasta and RJ Bishop in front of him. And I have to say, there was actually some pretty surprising positivity coming out of the 74 camp this week, as they've actually had some pretty good speed throughout the weekend so far, and they've actually been keeping that speed in the race. You know, Jack Halleck really has not had the season this team, I think, was really hoping for. They've really struggled to compete for wins this season. They've had issues just hitting the right setups, and you know this team does have race-winning capable cars, but they just haven't been able to really hit on much. They've had some sneaky good runs here. Like Boston, they managed to get a top 10, but they have not really had this much pace in quite a while in the 74 car, so they're trying to make the most of it here. Three laps into this race, 1/3, and the top 4 here still stuck under kind of a blanket here, a long blanket, but still a blanket nonetheless. They've pulled away from 5th on back, and they haven't really changed much positions here. Martin and Eves have been kind of stuck together there. Martin has been pretty patient with his 3 so far, but you have to imagine Martin wants to get past his 3 cars. He's trying to do it right now. He's going to go underneath the 3 there for 2nd place. And Martin, I think, is going to finally get the spot here. Eves trying to fight back on the outside, but there's not really much of an outside lane here, to be quite honest with you. As Martin, Eves almost made contact there. Eves was trying to hug the quarter panel of the 22 to keep him pressured down the bottom, but Martin didn't struggle despite that, so he's going to still make that pass. So now the question is, does Luke Martin have the pace to catch Tyler Black here? Eves was keeping up with him, running roughly almost the same exact lap times, but does Martin perhaps have a faster car there? We showed a little bit of this gateway a few weeks ago, but here's the battle in the top 30 owners points cut line here. James Ellison and Sebastian Kukulon. Kukulon was able to beat Ellison to gain some points on him in on the cut line there, but Ellison trying to start making up that ground on the 92 team. That's been kind of the goal for this 93 team right now, is just to get back in the top 30 in owners points by the end of the season. And with 6 races to go, including today, that's going to be quite the goal for them to go for here. The gap isn't very big, but considering how even these two have been basically for most of the season so far, making gains is going to be quite difficult here. You have to imagine Gallon Downey wants to come down to pit road as soon as possible here, because this 12 car, the longer this run has gone, it's just gone way worse and worse. Downey was at one point hovering the top 5, but has now fallen to 15th here. And Downey, who is a bit of on the outside edge of the championship battle, has been one of the more consistent drivers the last 2 months. But you have to imagine they may have missed something on the setup here today, or perhaps they have a long run car and we're not anticipating this to be green for as long as it has been so far. But you have to imagine the goal for the 12 is to at least beat Yepes to gain some points in the title race. But with 6 races to go, it's going to have to be bigger chunks than I think what he would get out of this today. We got a couple of cars that are going to come to pit road here shortly here, we believe. As Tyler Black and Luke Martin, they have actually managed to start the pull away on the 3 and the 54 here. So it seems to me Martin and Black have some really strong long run cars here. Now Martin has been reeling in the city for very slowly lap per lap here, but you have to imagine Martin's having to battle the 3 has kind of worn out some of the tires here. Meanwhile, Black has basically had a clean racetrack this entire time and has led all 41 laps completed so far. But you can see Martin, he is just inching inch by inch every corner here. You have to imagine the A4 team maybe considering sending him to pit road to try and defend this lead here. Speaking of which, Black and Martin to pit road here together. So Martin's not going to do anything fancy here with Black. They're just going to put them both in here. We got a couple of cars who actually pitted the lap prior there. As I think Aiden Shepard just hit the side of the 6. Yeah, that's, well, at least it's not Sean Angel, but it should be interesting to see how this race between these two off pit road goes. Nick Breen took the lead because he decided to stay out 1 extra lap compared to Martin and Black, so he's going to get that lap led there. So unfortunately, Black's not going to have the opportunity to lead every single lap today, but I'm sure that's not exactly what he's too worried about. Race off pit road here. Tyler Black comes out in front of Luke Martin there, so he will theoretically keep the lead here. But now he's got a car of Aiden Shepard behind him here, a lap down car, we believe. And Krasta and RJ Bishop, they pitted the lap prior, we believe. They're going to get past Martin there for second place. So the top 5 mixes up a little bit. Shade Eves is no longer in the top 5, neither is Nick Breeding. Ounson behind Halleck, they're not behind Nevins. Eves, he has fallen all the way back to Noah Hart. What the heck happened on pit road to Shade Eves in the 3 car? I think he's fallen outside the top 10 even. He's fallen to 16th here. Now he may get some spots back here. Nick Breeding, he's also going to lose a spot here. You have to imagine maybe staying out the next lap was not the best idea. But either way, Corey Williams also just flew right past him, and Williams was behind him when the stop started, so you have to imagine a couple of mistakes on pit road here have really shuffled the top 15. Breeding and Eves, who were in the top 5, they're not even in the top 10 anymore. As we are halfway through. Eves clocks in 11th, Breeding clocks in at 13th. Here's what Shade Eves' pit stop here in the 3. Now remember back at Gateway, they fell all the way to the back because they had an issue getting the car refired after a stop there, put them all the way in the back, and you can see it's happened again. The 3 struggling to get the car refired to get back on the racetrack here. This is where he lost so much time. For the second week in a row, the 3 team has made a massive mistake on pit lane, and you have to believe maybe Breeding's team may have also made a similar mistake to that. But Shade Eves, you have to imagine the frustration in that 3 team right now. They've had multiple instances of struggles on pit lane this season, and it's been costing them a lot of points here. Here was Nick Breeding's stop here. We're being told that he actually didn't have an issue entering a stall or leaving it. It was just getting to it as Kyle Collins merged in front of him and gave him left side damage. So the 54 team, they repaired the left side damage, and it cost them time on pit lane. A massive hit between 2 of the title contenders here. Just past halfway here, Tyler Black is your leader, but he is being hounded by Brandon Crasta, RJ Bishop, and Luke Martin now all of a sudden there. Black has led basically every lap that he's been on track for. And first he was worried about Luke Martin, and now he's having to worry about Krasta, Bishop, and Martin now. Now, we haven't seen Tyler Black deal with any lap traffic so far. Remember, again, he's led basically every time he's been on the racetrack here. But now he's going to have to do with lap cars. Austin Rogers in a 21 up ahead, Schramm up ahead. How will this car drive in traffic here? This may be an opportunity for the guys behind to make up some time here or make a pass on him. Tyler Black stuck side by side with the 21 of Austin Rogers here. Krasta makes up some time on him. Will he make a move here and pounce? Ooh, no, Krasta, he gets really tight on the entry of the corner there, and RJ Bishop in the 71's going to take it from him. Krasta overshot the corner, and now he's going to pay the price for it. Bishop now in the 71 below. Here comes Martin now in between these two. And this is exactly what Tyler Black wants to see. The 21 Austin Rogers has accidentally been kind of a little bit of a pick here for him, as now these three are trapped under a blanket. Martin now trying to find a way past Krasta here. Krasta stuck on that outside line here, trying to fight his way back towards the bottom. Martin, though, he drives through the corner there. He may have pitted about one lap earlier than these guys here, but it may have some kind of effect on the tires here. And also, that 22 has been keeping up with that 84 all day today. So Martin, we know, has a car that could possibly win here. Krasta trying to fight back on the outside line, but Martin overpowers him. Krasta had to back off. But it's starting to get a little dicey here. Everyone was playing nice before. It's not going to be nice now. Lap cars are kind of throwing a little bit of a wrench into the top 10 right now. Jack Halleck running in the 5th place position right now, trying to hold off Shear. And you can see Malik Nevins trying to get past Christopher Jones in the 06. Jones, who was in the 29 2 weeks ago, he's now in the 06 for this weekend. Just barely got the car in the field. But yeah, you can tell that car is not exactly as strong as the S3 cars are. But a lot of cars trying to get through this lap traffic here, and it's kind of shuffling some spots here. You can see Shade East in the 3. He is running in 11th. He is trying to make up the places lost here. He had a good chance at a podium today, but it's going to have to require another heroic effort from him to get a really good finish here. So with 30 laps to go here, Tyler Black is your leader, and he has got a gap on Luke Martin here. And this is where it's going to be a very interesting game between these two. Tyler Black, he's got roughly the same speed as Martin does. Now, we saw that at the end of the run, Martin was a little bit faster, and you have to imagine that's going to continue again unless the City 14 really made some adjustments here. So what's going to be interesting here is, can Luke Martin, while shuffling through lap traffic, still catch the 84 in time? Now, they're still going to have to pit at least one more time at the very end, but will it be enough to make much of a difference here? Now, what's going to help Black is he needs to basically put as many lap cars in between himself and Luke Martin here, and also run some pretty fast laps, mind you. So yes, that will be the question, and what to look for here. Does Martin have the time? What's not going to help here is the fact that lap cars are running side by side with each other here. Schramm and Tyler Commons. And Martin's going to have to pray that one of them at least figures it out. And that's going to be Schramm. He's going to get past Commons there for the spot. Back towards the mid-pack here, Diego Yepes. Man, they have still not figured out what is going on with this car today. They are battling Jeff Bolton in the 32 car for 19th right now. And credit to Bolton here, holding off the points leader is quite the task here. And include the disparity in equipment. Granted, it's not the biggest disparity, but it's still significant nonetheless. He's doing a good job here. Tim Fiegel in the 86 catching behind him. Lockrow as well. You have to imagine the 77 team, they must be ripping their hair out right now. They cannot believe how much they've been struggling so far today and this weekend. And they are in danger of losing the points lead here. Now, they are fortunate on one thing. Eves and Breeding's issues on pit lane have kind of cycled them back to where he is. So they're not so the loss for Yepes doesn't seem to be as bad as it could be, but you have to mention it's still not ideal. Luke Martin has been stuck behind the 6 for several laps here, and it's been costing him time, as the gap is up to 1.5 seconds here. Martin had gotten it down a little bit there, but he's basically losing a couple tenths a lap here, although this lap he actually made up some ground. Wonder if Black maybe made a bit of a mistake on the previous lap there. But Black is just clicking off lap cars after lap cars here, and basically holding a defensive barrier behind him, because Black is, I mean, you have to, so in terms of tires, they're pretty much even with the rest of the field, so passing for Black shouldn't be difficult here. As you can see, he just muscles through the corner way better than the 29 of Ian Brandt did. But this is where the problems lie, is trying to find a way past efficiently there. Black gets underneath the 29 there, but he's going to go side by side here, has to back off to not hit him. That's the type of time you're going to lose going through lap traffic here. And what's not helping is Brandt is trying to fight him off here, but yeah, that was inevitable. Martin, though, he finally gets past the 6 of Glenn Mixon. Mixon making one of his limited starts this season for Team Velocity. So right now Martin was 1.5 seconds behind. He's gotten it back down to 1.3. Probably helped a bit of the struggle between Black and Brandt happen there. But honestly, I think this 22 is pretty fast. He's got less than 20 laps and a pit stop to catch him. Now for 5th here, Corey Williams. This 14 car has come alive. He's gone from 9th up to 5th here if he can get past Jack Halleck. Halleck around the outside trying to hold off this 14. Trying to get a top 5, which would be a massive day for the 74 team, but Williams in the 14 just a little bit faster. Just going to get right by him here. Halleck now going to go to the bottom there, try and hold off Bishop Jr., but Bishop Jr. throwing it in there, trying to make the pass here. Now you want two guys who can make some massive gains in the points today. It's these two, Bishop Jr. and Corey Williams. They have a massive opportunity to make some points in the top, make a points in the top 4 here, if they can hold these positions with just under, well, just over 15 laps to go. Here comes Luke Martin. Despite battling the 29, has still been making up some kind of ground there, although this time he lost 0.4 of a second battling with Brandt there. But here's where things could get interesting. Martin has gotten clear of the 29, but now Black has basically hell in front of him, because that is a big train of cars in front of him. Huck Davis, Nick Pericles, Austin Runkle, I believe. He's going to have to make quick work of these guys. He cannot let Martin catch him. So here's the pit strategy situation here. They're going to have to pit at least one more time. They cannot make it the rest of the way in gas, so they're going to have to come in and take fuel. The question is going to be, do you come in, take fuel and tires, or do you just take fuel here? Now, taking 4 tires with less than 10 to go is not going to gain you much here. It's going to be a 14-second stop compared to what we would estimate to be an 8-second 2-tire stop, maybe even less if you take fuel only. So if you're Luke Martin or Tyler Black here, you have to wonder, what decision do you make here? Now, what I would imagine is Martin may make the opposite move of whatever Black does, or vice versa here, because if Martin comes to pit road before Black does, that is a massive chance to make up ground there. As we have seen, the 8 and the 71 under that last pit stop, by pitting first, they were able to get their tires warmed up and moved further ahead faster than the others guys did. So will those two do the same there? Now, what's going to help Black here is he is just picking off these lap cars one by one, and Martin is just, every time he's making up the ground on this 84, he just loses it. So you have to wonder what the game plan is going to be here. Tell you who's had a really good month this month has been RJ Bishop in the 71. For a team that has really struggled this year, the most DNFs out of anyone in the field, they've these past 3 races have been really strong. They've had top 10 runs at Darlington, they had top 5 speed at Gateway, and they've had almost top, actually they have top 5 speed today here in Nazareth. So a really good end of the season turnaround for the 71 team, though you have to imagine what could have been if they've been able to be more consistent. Because they also had a month during the season where they were also looking just as good as this, but then everything in between has just been a struggle, to put it mildly. Now, in fairness, a lot of the 71's DNFs were not really his fault. This 71 team has had some mechanical failures over the season, and it's been very difficult for them. Less than 10 to go here. Tyler Black in the 84, he just keeps clicking off cars, and every time Martin gains, he loses it all. And now they've got 2 Crossroads cars here. They've gone past TJ Smith in the 31. Now they're trying to get past Austin Runkle in the 30. But man, we are coming here to the final stretch of this race here, and there's going to be a lot of interesting questions to see what happens on pit road. Martin, at the rate he's going, is not going to have the time to catch the 84, so it's going to have to be something on pit road. You have to maybe consider maybe the 22 team, maybe they're thinking of just taking gas only. To go basically less than 10 laps here, they won't have to run the full tank. They won't have to fill up the tank very far, so will that be enough to make up the time? But you also factor in if the 84 takes tires. There is so much to talk about here of what could happen in this final 10-lap stretch. You just saw TJ Smith came to pit road there. So you have to imagine, is Black or Martin thinking the same thing? We have been caution-free today, which, after what happened at Gateway, is probably a blessing here. So here comes Tyler Black into pit lane in the 84 car. Will Martin follow as soon as he did before? No, he doesn't. Luke Martin, the 22, is going to stay out an extra lap here. They're going to try something different here. Is Martin perhaps thinking about taking less fuel? Black surrenders the lead there for his final stop of the day. Here comes Tyler Black into his stall. What call is this 84 team going to make here? Bishop in the top 5 also came into pit behind him here. They're going to put tires on the 84. Is it just going to be right sides though? Yes, it's just right sides. They've spent a couple seconds to fill the tank up, but Black has made his decision. They're going to take 2 tires there. But what will Luke Martin do now in response? Here comes Martin into his stall now. What will he do? They're also going to put tires on the 22. But is it also just going to be right sides just like Black did? Martin comes out of pit lane there. 2 tires only. They're going to copy the strategy there. But here comes the advantage. Martin may not have had to put as much fuel in the car as Black did. Here comes Black around the outside. What's it going to be here? Martin is still ahead of the 84. He's still ahead of him. He's going to come out in front of Tyler Black at the end of the pit cycle with 5 to go. Luke Martin has gone in front of Tyler Black. Was staying out the difference there. Was less fuel in the car the difference. Tyler Black is now behind the 22 for the first time today. Here come other cars coming off pit lane. Martin though now, he's behind the 31 of TJ Smith. But this is unbelievable. Luke Martin has taken the lead off of pit road there from over a second behind. Now check up at the ticker. Corey Williams has now just come to pit lane in the 14. Here comes Corey Williams there. They took no tires. They took gas only for the 14 team. Look at the time they made up. He was 5 seconds behind the leaders. He's going to slot it between the 22 and the 84. Corey Williams with a no tire call. They just put gas in it with 4 to go. But this is the trouble here. Cold tires and no tires just to add to that matter there. Corey Williams has just passed several cars to go up to 3rd place there. But right now the battle for the win is between Luke Martin and Tyler Black. What a call from the 22 team here. They took the extra lap. They did not have to put as much fuel in the car as Black did, and it was just enough to make up the difference. A full 1.3 second change here. 2 laps to go here. What does Tyler Black do? He has not had to pass anyone for position so far today. TJ Smith in 31 has been running an equal pace to this 22. Martin may have to get desperate here to pass the 31. If he makes a single mistake, Black's going to be there for him. Here comes Black underneath the inside. My voice can't stop cracking, but the white flag is out for Luke Martin in the 22. Ooh, Martin trying to get past the 31 now. Black looking for an opportunity here. Martin tries to get into the 31 to move him out of the way, but Martin tries to dive down now. Look at this, Martin now. Martin's going to go down to the bottom lane. He's going to defend the bottom. He's not even going to let Black do something. He's going to have to force Black to make a move. But here comes Martin at the inside. He dives beneath TJ Smith. Through the final corner. Luke Martin, unbelievably, has just won in Nazareth. What a finish. Luke Martin dive bombed the 31 to prevent the 84 from making a move. And what a call from the 22 team. Luke Martin wins his second straight race, his third of the season. And you have to feel bad for Tyler Black in the 84. Perfect race today, and they got beat on pit lane. And that is a heartbreaker for Black. I don't think he could have done anything better there. Corey Williams comes across third place. What a great call that was. They got a third. RJ Bishop comes across fourth. Bradley Bishop Jr. finishes in the fifth place position. Jack Halleck comes across in sixth. A great day for him in Spartan Motorsports. Brandon Krasta finishes seventh. Kev Shearer finishes eighth. Malik Nevins scores another top 10 for Strigley Racing. And Patrick Smith in the 04, top 10 out of nowhere for SC Motorsports there. So Patrick Smith, an incredible top 10 there. But what a finish there between Luke Martin, Tyler Black, and Corey Williams for a brief moment. And it's Luke Martin that comes out your winner. Before we show you results and points, here's what happened on pit lane with James Ellison. We were not able to cover this because of the exciting finish. But Ellison DNF from the race, and this is why. Just slammed the back of Hannah Allen, missed his stall. And Ellison, another unfortunate weekend.